Expect shakeups in your relationships, your art, and your taste as Venus, the planet of beauty, attraction, and desire, squares Uranus, the planet of revolution, shakeups, changes, and independence on Saturday, January 14th. Could be fun, could be challenging, could be both. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. I work with clients, and you can book a reading with me at the link down below. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. All of it really helps my channel grow and makes me happy and encourages me to bring you new videos. Before I dive in to this reading, into this video, I wanted to let you know that until January 31st, I am working on 2023 horoscopes. You can get $23 off with the coupon code 2023 off of a live reading, or you can book a recorded horoscope, which is kind of the same thing except for us talking in person, in the shop section of my website, and that one is cheaper. So take advantage of that offer. It's only active until January 31st. So, Venus, the planet of accord, the planet of people getting along, the planet that makes us happy and jolly and excited, that lets us have a good day, good time, ends up in a square with Uranus. It happens on Saturday, which is January 14th, 8:21 p.m. Eastern, but you start to feel the energy approximately on Wednesday, January 11th, and until January 17th. So it takes 3 days to build on each side. Uranus is the planet of enlightenment. Uranus tests us, Uranus breaks us, and Uranus creates breakthroughs, right? It's like either you break down or you break through with Uranus. And you have the power. Like if you're flexible, if you're adaptable, if you are able to deal with change and able to see yourself through the difficulty or through the tunnel of enlightenment, you end up coming out on the other side empowered. So this could be an interesting transit for romance, right? If you are single, you may find yourself getting attracted to people who are very different than who you normally go for. It's not likely to lead to a long-lasting romance, but you may potentially have some kind of breakthrough, right? Like you realize that you are, I don't know, you meet a woman and you've never liked women before and you suddenly realize that you are bisexual. So there might be sudden infatuations, sudden endings potentially too, especially if the relationship is not doing so well. Uranus tests things, right? Like it tests the strength of your relationship. There might be an outside shakeup, like something happens, your partner's ex reaches out, and that tests your dynamic and your trust between the two of you. And maybe as a result, you become a stronger couple, right? Or your partner becomes a source of disruption, or maybe you become the source of disruption. Maybe you are someone who feels like you need freedom in a relationship. So once again, if the relationship is strong and healthy, this is likely to be a chance to upgrade, to level up. If it's not so strong and you realize that you're on a different page, your partner wants more freedom, you want more of a classical, traditional relationship, it might be, things might sort of go sour and fall apart. A lovely chance to experiment in art, in creativity, in writing, in dance. Like there's more, if you are attracted to unusual things, people around you are likely to be attracted to unusual things as well. Water break. And yeah, like there might be unique beauty procedures that you're interested in trying out. I wouldn't necessarily rush to go for something at this time, and instead maybe wait for a happier Venus transit. Beware of a tendency to ruin a good thing, a good relationship or a friendship, just out of boredom, because there might be this tendency to feel restless and sort of seek a chance for something new. You can, of course, be proactive with this transit, which is always a great way to work with transit, and maybe have some kind of unique evening planned, right? And spend some time doing things that are a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but things that you've always wanted to try. And let me know how it goes. So let's take a look at 12 signs and see where you might experience the shakeups the most. For Aries rising, Venus is in Aquarius, your 11th house, squaring Uranus in Taurus, your 2nd house. This can bring issues and shakeups in friendships and your social network. Like if you are a part of some kind of group, some kind of club, there might be difficulty connected to money. Perhaps you've been saving money for a friend's birthday and there's some kind of disagreement about what to spend on, right? Friendship tests are likely, some kind of surprises surrounding money. Maybe your friend says, I don't want to pay you the debt that I owe you. Or, they're being evasive and you sort of feel frustrated. So there might be a tendency to be harsh and sort of say things that you might regret or cut the friendship off. So I would recommend that you try to be flexible and maybe don't rush to make decisions you will later regret. For Taurus rising, Venus in the 10th house squares Uranus in the 1st. And here we have tension between authority figures, your duties, your reputation, and things that you owe to others versus your personal freedom and the things that you want to do in life. So maybe your boss expects you to work the weekend, but you had a plan to go hiking, right? And you're not having it. You're sort of anti-oppression, so you end up in a fight with your boss. I would recommend try to be flexible. Perhaps there's a chance that you can do both, but you postpone the hiking trip or you make a shorter trip. So there's always an opportunity to adapt and adjust. So instead of telling something mean to your boss and getting fired or quitting and then realizing that you're not quite ready to quit yet. And be careful also of physical injuries, because there might be a chance that you're pushing yourself too hard and injuring yourself, and then the stress at work is the result of that. For Gemini risings, Venus in the 9th house is going to square Uranus in the 12th, and you may be dealing with some kind of frustrations connected to legal matters, to publishing, to travel or education. Things with Uranus in the 12th house that can arise that are really out of your control, that are disruptive, but you have almost you have nothing, you have no power to do, or you words. It's still Mercury retrograde, so it's hard sometimes to sentences, words put together. But maybe you are applying for a visa and you run into a roadblock where you need to reapply, and you can spin your wheels and get frustrated and get in a fight with your lawyer, or you can maybe get a different lawyer or try to reapply and try to do things differently this time around. Look it up, maybe be more proactive, take initiative. For Cancer rising, Venus in the 8th house is going to square Uranus in the 11th house. Uranus in the 11th might bring a chance to break away, a chance to pursue something new, maybe a new job opportunity, maybe a fun event with a friend, your friend is inviting you to a concert and you're this is exciting, this is what I want to be doing. But of course, with Venus in the 8th house, there is likely certain dynamics, and be that in a romantic relationship, be that with your parents, be that with your boss, that you are responsible for. So here there might be tensions between your dreams and your plans for the future and your freedom, and the dependencies you have, the responsibilities you have to other people. So be mindful of that. Don't kind of tear things up and, you know, say whatever and like go off and have fun. Try to be mindful of like if there are other people relying on you, that you maybe need to be more flexible. For Leo rising, Venus is in your 7th house, the place of romance and dating, and Venus sort of wants to create beauty and joy in your life. Venus squares Uranus in the 10th. So you have challenge and tension between your relationship and your career, or your partnership, maybe even your business and your professional demands, right? Like the boss expects something from you, and that puts a strain on the project or the order that you were supposed to deliver to someone. So if you are feeling frustrated with your job, this could be an invitation for you to look at how you can find more freedom professionally, so you are able to build your own schedule and, you know, take the time off when you want to take it, or spend time with your partner when you want to do it. So be more flexible. Try to think outside the box. Uranus is really good for that. For Virgo rising, Venus in the 6th house is going to square Uranus in the 9th. And here we are dealing with the place of work, the place of health, and the house of legal matters, travel, education, publishing. So somehow there's tension there, right? Like maybe you want to be free to do the type of work that you want, or you want to be free to write, or you want to be free to be a business owner. But with Venus in the 6th, there are certain dynamics, relationships, professional things that you have to navigate really carefully and work within, right? Like before you kind of break out of the structure, you need to find a good way to escape it, right? So there might be a need to work with other people and to be patient before you're able to move on this new level in your professional life. For Libra rising, Venus is in your 5th house, squaring Uranus in the 8th. And this could be a conflict with a partner about money, about their spendings and their values. And perhaps with Venus in the 5th house, you wanted to have fun, you wanted to go on a date, or you wanted to even buy something new for your kids. And maybe your partner disagrees with that, or your partner has spent some money that you are not excited about. There might also be a need to have some kind of challenging conversations. Maybe your partner going through some kind of shakeup financially. Maybe they, you know, lose a job, or have to deal with debt, or have to deal with their parents, because like 8th house also deals with your partner's parents a lot of times. So there might be certain kind of drama coming from the partner's side of your life. And if you're single, it could be a financial matter that, you know, a debt that suddenly comes up that you need to pay off, or a bill you have forgotten about, or even the friendship where things don't feel completely fair. But could also be, if you're in a relationship, could be like your mother-in-law messing with you somehow. So try to be flexible, try to keep in mind the big picture, that you love your partner and you can get through whatever things come up. And it's also Venus in the 5th house, so there might be some kind of sexual breakthrough connected to this. That could be good or bad or the other, depending on how you approach it. For Scorpio rising, Venus in the 4th house is squaring Uranus in the 7th house. So it's kind of part of the longer story, right? Venus in the 4th house wants to have peace in the home, wants to finish the renovation project, wants to have beautiful surroundings and easy relationships. But Uranus in the 7th disrupts your flow. Whether it's a partner, it could be a partner being the source of surprises. Like you've been doing this renovation project and you're almost done. Now your partner says that they got a job somewhere else and they want to move, and you get into a fight, or you now have to figure out how to make both work, right? Like how can you make this home renovation project and your partnership work. Maybe your partner's dynamic with their family becomes a sore topic and a source of frustration. Maybe your partner acts weird and that ignites or triggers some kind of past pattern within you, because Venus in the 4th house could also be your opportunity to look at your inner child and look at your childhood and your patterns and your kind of family karma and how it might be still playing out in your relationship. But try to be more fluid and flexible, and maybe find a way to innovate your relationship and have some fun and try new things versus waiting for Uranus to like slap you in the face. Maybe you need a slap in the face. I don't judge. For Sagittarius rising, Venus in the 3rd house squares Uranus in the 6th house. So here we're dealing with frustrations connected to siblings, schedule, communication, work, right? Uranus in the 6th house can throw a surprise into your routine. Like you've had your day planned out, your week planned out, and now your child gets sick, or your colleague gets sick and they want you to come in and, you know, replace them, and you are agreeing to do that, but that creates some like drama, tension, frustration. Maybe you're trying to navigate a complicated sibling dynamic. Watch out for overextending yourself. Watch out for trying to be, you know, the person who's like good for everyone, but forgetting yourself in the process. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you take care of yourself as well. And yeah, there's a danger of burnout with this transit for sure, because we get 6th house in the mix. So if you push too hard, if you take on too much, there's a danger of getting sick, for example, getting like a cold or something. So take good care of yourself. For Capricorn rising, Venus in the 2nd house squares Uranus in the 5th house. And here we have a tension between the house of money and values and the house of romance, creativity, and children. This can play out in a few ways. As always, of course, listen to what resonates and let me know if it does in the comments below. But here, Venus in the 2nd house wants to spend money perhaps on something. There might be a desire for like new beginnings financially, desire to buy like a beautiful piece of art maybe, or invest into something, or maybe even save on something. And with Uranus in the 5th house, there either may be like sudden spendings that you have to make that block you from investing into the thing that you wanted to invest, or you may run into a disagreement with your partner around money values. Or Uranus in the 5th house could even be a pregnancy or something connected to the child that comes up suddenly that then in turn impacts your finances. Like, you know, your kid needs to go to school and there is this sudden cost that you didn't account for. So make sure you're adaptable with money. Make sure you are more flexible about the budget you have set, because around this time there may be, like I said, sudden spendings that catch you by surprise. For Aqua rising, Venus in the 1st house squares Uranus in the 4th. And you may have to deal with surprises and tensions and some drama coming from family, where maybe, you know, a family member has a clear idea of what they want you to do and how they want you to act, and that brings up some tension and a desire to break away from things, and maybe you say words that you later regret, so be careful with that. There might be issues connected to your living situation that frustrate your plans and delay your plans, so you may also need to be adaptable. And since 4th house represents your peace of mind and your comfort and your security, with Venus squaring that, you may also notice that maybe there are certain past issues, kind of childhood issues coming up that you haven't processed, haven't resolved, and they really need your attention. They really need you to, you know, take them for another round and maybe release something and like go through a breakthrough where you wake up a new person. And for Pisces rising, Venus in the 12th house will square Uranus in the 3rd. Venus in the 12th wants peace, quiet, kind of maybe alone time with your partner, maybe going on a trip together, getting away, while Uranus in the 3rd can create certain tensions and conflicts that you haven't addressed. Like certain words can be exchanged, and sometimes it might even be like something you didn't mean, right? Like you say a thing to your partner and they get offended and you end up in a fight with them. Conflicts with siblings, conflicts with neighbors are possible around this time. More, like issues in the neighborhood, like where you go to a post office and you run into like an angry person and that disrupts your peace because for the rest of the day you are thinking about the encounter you've had. So the neighborhood and your immediate environment, your car may break down. There might be certain like breakdowns of technology that disrupt you. So check your car, maybe stay in. I mean, don't stay in the entire week, but beware that things around you might be a bit more chaotic right now. And if you do get in some kind of conflict or kerfuffle with your partner or with a neighbor or with a crazy local person, use that as a chance to do things differently, right? Even if it's not easy for you, try to approach the situation from a different perspective this one time and see if it can change your overall outlook. This is it. Have a great week. Enjoy the Venus square Uranus. Try to break through, not break down, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.